So hi there and welcome back. Just before I start, thanks to everybody who voted in my little poll that I put out for which game mode I should do next. Obviously the winner was the Rainbow Six Secure Area mode. I'm not sure how well that's going to go, but I'm going to give it a crack for everybody that voted. So I'll be working on that over the next week or two and having a look how I can make that work. If anybody's got any comments on how they think that should be done, or anything they'd like to see in that, please make sure you do drop something in the comments below and I'll see what I can do. I'll discuss that more later on as we get closer. I've got a couple of other modes all ready to go and some tutorials in mind, and I will be looking at some of the commands. I've had a request to look at variables and arrays, so we will be going over those at some point shortly. But that's not the purpose of this video today. Today's video is actually not a tutorial. As we all know, the developers got back into work just a week or two ago and started to hopefully put plans together to take us through the rest of this year. And as the weeks and months progress, what I'm hoping to do is just bring you a little bit of an update each week on what is going on in Portal, any interesting news, any game modes that I've come across, and anything that just might be interesting to you as we work through. So this week we've got a brief look at the new modes that have been added to Portal this week, and also some potentially huge news from DICE and the developers of Portal about the potential future for Portal. So before we begin, just a little plea from me: if you haven't subscribed already, please do click the subscribe button. Please consider clicking the like button and the share button. And if you want to keep up with the latest guides and tutorials for Portal, or just keep up to date with the news, please consider clicking the follow button. I'm on my way to 1,000 subscribers and you can really help me get there. So let's crack on and have a look at what's happening this week in Portal. So first up, obviously the big news has been, well, I say big news, the great news has been that they have returned the Rush 2042 mode back into Portal. This was clearly quite a bit of a mistake, and you can see from the tweet that I'm putting up at the moment. We'll talk more about this gentleman in a moment, but as you can see from the tweet that I'm putting up, there has been an apology from them and they have replaced the Rush mode back into the rotation. This is excellent news. I've got to say, when I do play Battlefield 2042, I do prefer the smaller game modes. I've always preferred the smaller game modes, so I'm more than delighted that this has come back to the game. You can also see, and I actually think that this is really, really good news, that they've added a new game mode called Run, Stop, Kill, Repeat. Now, I tried this with my friends last night and we had a bit of a laugh. It's an interesting game mode. I don't think it's going to keep getting people pulled back into the game, and I don't think it's going to be the defining moment in Battlefield 2042. Actually, when we struck it up, I thought it was going to be a little bit like Squid Game, you know, the TV show on Netflix. Turns out it's a little bit like that, but it's not exactly the same. You can see on the screen it says it's like musical chairs with guns, and I guess it is. However, as a creator, or as someone who's really interested in Portal as a platform for creating game modes, the biggest thing for me from this is obviously that they've taken the time to highlight a game mode created by a set of creators. You can see there are two angry gamers created this particular game mode, and that is a really good development for me. I always saw Portal as like a window into new and interesting game modes created by creators, and this perhaps marks the beginning of that. So you can see in the background some of the footage from the game mode running. I do suggest you have a go. It's a free-for-all mode, and basically the game works in phases. In one phase you can run around, but you cannot shoot, and then there's a countdown. That countdown varies in time, and then there is a second phase where you cannot move, so you can't run forward or backwards, and you are given a random gun from the selection and you can shoot whoever's in front of you. So from the point where you have to stop, you can shoot whoever you can see. It's a little bit more like, I guess, well, it's a mixture of musical chairs and hide and seek really for me. Anyway, you can see in the background a little bit that game mode working. It was a good laugh. I can't see myself keep coming back to it week after week, and I'd like to see them replace that game mode at the end of this week with another one and start really looking at some of these really brilliant ideas that are coming out of creators and looking for some more interesting game modes. And hopefully the tools that I give you will allow you to create those game modes, and hopefully we'll see somebody's game mode that I've helped on the Battlefield Portal screen options when we all boot up. Next, and this is really the big thing that I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about somebody who you should be following on Twitter if you aren't following them already. So here you can see the profile for, now you've got to forgive me, I'm sure somebody is going to correct me, but this is Justin Weeb. And he works for Ripple Effects Studios, and you can see there on his profile that he is Senior Design Director at Ripple Effects Studios, bringing some crazy to the Battlefield franchise. I have to say I am following him at the moment, and there are some interesting conversations going on at the moment on his Twitter feed, and I do urge you to go and have a look. Now, he would say that he is the Portal man, and that Portal is his dream. So this was the mode that he really wanted to get in place. He was probably very influential in bringing 2042 Rush back to the Portal, and also getting us run, stop, kill, repeat possibly on the Portal. There you can see his tweet just introducing the players to those modes. So here's a potentially brilliant piece of news as well, and you can see that somebody has asked the question: how has limited XP in Portal and tier 1 progression for 2042 items in Portal not been addressed yet? And I've got to say, there's a lot of players asking that question. I do think that this is holding Portal back. A lot of players don't want to play in Portal, or at least in the Portal mode, because they don't get the necessary XP for playing. And you can see here we have another response. Fantastic for the community. Thanks for bringing this up. You're not wrong. It's taken us too long to get this resolved. Something that should have been simple is proving to be quite complex. But look for an update next week. There will be a phased approach to improving the progression in BF Portal. Again, brilliant news. I would say that I don't actually think personally that it should have been that difficult, but there's the response from Justin as well. He agrees it does look like it should have been something simple, but it is turning into something quite complex. Now, obviously, I don't know myself what the inner workings are of the Portal engine, but this is really excellent news. This is holding back Portal. We'd like to see some improvement in XP. I'm going to keep a close eye on what happens to XP in Portal, and clearly if I see something interesting, I will be bringing it up with you as the weeks progress. If there's an update next week, I'll be sure to let you know. But something struck my eye as I was reading through his tweets, and I just wanted to point this particular response to a tweet out to everyone. And you can see Ty Be Time, I'm not sure whether that's the right profile, says, is there any word on if, when the rule editor will be added to Rush and other objective-based game modes? And Justin Weeb's response, and I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, is, so that's tricky. Since those modes were made in Frostbite instead of using Portal logic, would need to be rebuilt from scratch, so it's in the discussion phase. But this would also need a form of spatial editor to pull off in Portal, as it requires placement of MCONs, etc. Now, for me, the brilliant or really interesting news at the very least from that tweet is this idea that that is in the discussion phase. Up until this point, we've heard nothing about the ability to place objectives or items in the world. A spatial editor would be an absolute mind-blowing revolution for Portal for me, and it is really the thing that is holding back creators from creating really interesting modes. Just imagine the ability to place the MCOMs wherever you want on the map. You could create alternative rush modes from different areas of the map. You could place search and destroy objectives. If you could map out spaces on the map as objectives, we no longer have to work our way around that by using AI to mark out objectives or using messages. Those spaces could be shown on the map, and clearly the ability is there in Portal to be able to do that, because we do have the rush mode. Conquest is run through the game engine, and all of those are based on physical or spatial objectives. So for me, this is a really interesting thing because it is now in the discussion phase, and who knows, in the future, will we be able to place objectives in Portal? And before I leave you today, can I just suggest that you follow Justin Weeb on Twitter and keep yourself up to date with what is going on his Twitter feed. It will be interesting. please, if you want to, give him your feedback. Tell him that this is really important to us as creators in Portal. This is something that we really need, and if they can make that happen, that would be absolutely amazing. It's interesting that it's because the Frostbite engine is holding them back instead of using Portal Logic, but wouldn't it be brilliant if we could see that in Portal? Right, that's it for this short video. As I say, I've got lots of tutorials coming up. I'm quite keen to get a few finished at the moment. I've got a few already finished, but we just need to put the levels together. Some are a bit too complicated to put in video, so I need to have a think about how I'm going to put them out. Hopefully you will look forward to having my little bit of news each week. I've got all sorts of things coming up. If you've enjoyed this video, if you've got anything out of it, or if you just simply haven't subscribed already, please consider clicking the subscribe button. It really helps me. I'm powering on towards 1,000 subscribers, and I think that this year will be the year of Portal. Justin Weeb, it's his dream come true. I don't think he's going to let it go. I don't think we are going to let it go, and I think that Portal is the future of, well, possibly the future of Battlefield. Okay, that's it for today. Take care, everyone, and I'll speak to you in the next video.